Dear students, welcome to this video. Now this video is going to be a very short one, I promise that. I'm going to finish this video within 5 minutes, alright? So bear with me. Now in this video and in the next few ones, I'm going to talk about different kinds of bias or errors in decision making. So while taking decisions, we usually make certain errors and certain forms of bias. So in the next few videos, I'm going to give you examples of certain forms of bias and errors. So the first one of them is self-serving bias. Again, self-serving bias. So I'm going to take a look at the definition first, and right after that, I'm going to explain this concept using real-life organizational examples. So here goes the definition. Self-serving bias is the tendency for individuals to attribute their own successes to internal factors while putting the blame for failures on external factors. Now please take a look at the blue marked and the red marked portion. Attribute their own successes to internal factors and putting the blame for failures on external factors. Don't worry if you are confused about this definition. I'm explaining it very soon. Now before I explain, I'm sure you remember what we mean by internal factors and external factors, right? We explained this concept right in the earlier video. However, for your own convenience, here is internal factors again. So internal factors are those factors that an individual can control. On the other hand, external factors are those which is out of an individual's control. So now let's go back to the definition again. The people, those who suffer from self-serving bias, what they do is, whenever they are successful, they only say that yes, it is their own credit. It is only because of them that they are successful. On the other hand, these same people, whenever they are unsuccessful or they face some kind of failure, they always say that it's not their fault. It's because of some other reason. That is self-serving bias. So again, whenever you are successful, you say that it's only your credit, you did all the work and that's why you won or you became successful. On the other hand, if you ever face failure, you say that no, it's not your fault, something else happened, it's his fault or it's her fault, it's not your fault at all. So that is what people do when they're suffering from self-serving bias. Let me give you some examples. In that way, the concept will be clearer to you. I'm sure many of you have seen this face, alright? So this is Munna Bhai. Now say this person is going to sit for an MBBS exam in order to be a doctor. Now after the exam, he got an A+. So he's really happy now, alright? Why? Because he's successful. So at this very moment, he's really happy because he's like the superstar best doctor in the world. Now, if he suffers from self-serving bias, you know what the smart new doctor would say? He would say something like this. I am the smartest one in the class. That is why I got an A+. It is all my credit. So he is trying to take all the credit of his own success. So maybe he is suffering from self-serving bias. Now, again, let's think of another scenario. Say this same person, he took the exam again. Now this time he got an F. Now, as he got an F, this time he is really unhappy and sad, okay? He's really sad. Now that you know that this person suffers from self-serving bias, can you make a guess what he is going to say about the reason of his failure this time? Yes, you guessed it right. Maybe he is going to say something like this. The board examiner hates me. That is why I got an F. It is not my fault. So the best doctor in the world is now saying that it's the fault of somebody else, not his own. So this is how self-serving bias works. If it is a success, it's all your credit, and if it is a failure, the person tries to blame it on somebody else. And this is something he does repetitively, almost always, all the time. I guess by now you have understood the concept pretty well. Now, as this is an organizational behavior course, I'm going to give you an organizational example to show you how self-serving bias might work in the organization. For this example, let's assume this person in the middle has been chosen as the employee of the month in an organization. Now, if this person is suffering from self-serving bias, he might say something like this. I worked really hard. That is why I won. It is all my credit. So he is saying that nobody else has helped him in the process of becoming the best employee of the month. So he is trying to take all the credit. On the other hand, if this same person was being demoted or fired by his boss, can you guess what he might say this time? Yes, you guessed it right. Maybe this person will say something like this. My colleagues made false accusations about me to my boss. That is why he is demoting me. So see, again, whenever there is failure, he is trying to dump it on somebody else. And again, this is something this person does on a regular basis, whether it's true or not. Now, my question to you people, yes, those of you who are listening to this video, have you ever met someone who is suffering from this kind of self-serving bias? Can you recall an event like this? I'm sure many of you have met people like this in your life by now. So keep on thinking about this sort of examples in your life. I'm going to finish off this lecture with the smartest doctor in the world, alright? So see you very soon in the next lecture.